going in the bloopers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Check that real quick, and then we can start.
Welcome to the first episode of House Collective's A Song of Fans and Theories. Today we are going to talk about what we think is going to happen in the final season of Game of Thrones. You all know me as the Collectress, and we have my accomplice over here, the Collective Mutineer. And newly brought to House Collective, our newest member is Zelwing. Yes, very avid in nerdy things, and you will see more things from her in the future. Yeah. We're gonna play a little game. We're gonna say a theory, either one we came up with ourselves or one we found on the internet, and then we're going to say whether or not we agree. So this is our yes side of the sign.
Yes.
So yes, we agree with the theory, or no, we do not agree with the theory. We thought it was a fun way to discuss this. We're each representing various...
An individual within Westeros.
Yes. So, points to you if you can't figure it out.
If you can't, this is not the video for you.
Yeah, go somewhere else on the internet.
Daenerys will stay together.
At least we hope.
Am I the only one who said no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
tell us why.
I
know. And okay, here's the thing. I hope that they will, but I don't think that they will.
yeah.
Why do you guys think they will stay together?
I think she's preggers.
I think she's pregnant.
And he feels so strongly about family, even if they, he has a problem with them being related. I don't think she will, because she expects to marry her brother. But I think even if he has a problem with it, if she's pregnant, he's not going to leave her. Even if they're not romantically together, they're going to be together because that's his child.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure she's pregnant. So both queens in Westeros are pregnant.
Yeah, and I honestly feel like she's pregnant because there seems to be a lot of emphasis on the fact that they are these magical individuals.
Right.
They have this blood that nobody else in Westeros does that's super powerful for some reason, and there's a lot of mysticism involved in it. And I think it'd be really strange if the two of them coming together didn't end up in some sort of actual life-giving,
Well, and I think it was really telling in season 7, I think it's the Dragon Pit episode. She tells him, I can't have any more children, and he's like, well, where'd you hear that?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, the witch who murdered my husband.
Right.
He's like,
Yeah.
well, I feel like she's lying to you.
That hated her.
Yeah.
And probably told her anything
Right.
that was incredibly cruel just to hurt her.
And bringing it back to the witch, she said only death can pay for life.
Right.
Daenerys lost one of her children.
She
right.
did.
That's
So
right.
there has been a death of one of her children.
Right.
So
Yeah.
maybe Viserion's death will pay for the life of
A
Daenerys'
new
baby.
child.
Who I hope is a girl.
I hope so.
It's a girl.
I ship them really hard, and I would love for them to stay together, but knowing Game of Thrones, there's a small part of me that feels like it's not going to work out.
There's
Because I feel like when Daenerys finds out that Jon is the true heir to the throne, and her whole life has basically been a lie, I think that that's going to possibly drive a wedge between them. I hope it doesn't. Let's be clear. I don't want them to break up, but I have this feeling that it might not.
And guys, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
We ship it really
We ship it real hard.
Really hard. I know it's gross for some people, but you have to think about it in the context of when this is supposed to be set as an analog to our society. And,
Exactly.
it
was not uncommon.
It was not uncommon, and also it was really not uncommon for Targaryens to marry their sisters and brothers. It was not a weird thing. Yeah. So she's been raised, like you said, her entire life to think that she was going to marry her brother.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
She barely knows
it's weird
Jon.
for us, not weird for them.
It wasn't weird for the Egyptians.
No.
They married their siblings all the time.
So one of the biggest reasons that I think that it's at least been foreshadowed that they're going to stick together at least part of the season, even after potentially finding out, is in the latest trailer. I believe it was the latest trailer.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the
both of
crypt
them. In both of them.
together.
Yeah.
And he's clearly upset, probably in front of Ned's grave, trying to cope with this, and she is comforting him.
That's true.
So and she still looks like she cares. You know, she's
Right.
there for him. Maybe she doesn't know though.
It could
Maybe
be.
only he knows.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be both. I'll be kind
Yeah.
of honest. It's
Okay.
kind of like, you know.
Like
Yeah, in the middle.
they might have strife, but then in the
Yeah.
end stay together because of a baby.
Yeah.
Or one of them might die.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be it. They're gonna stay together, and one of them is going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't think they're gonna get a happy ending at the end.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, it could be maybe Daenerys won't be pissed off that he's the rightful heir. Maybe she'll think, oh, this solidifies my. I don't know, but
Honestly, if they're both being smart about it, a marriage between them would make
Would
their
unite the entire kingdom,
They-
which is honestly why
they
I
both
think
have
it's-
legitimate claims to the throne. Putting them
Yeah.
together, it's
Daenerys has learned so much throughout her trials and tribulations, and
true.
he's probably the most trustworthy man she's come across that has only asked for help from her.
Right.
Hasn't actually really truly wanted anything other than her power and force to help defend other people, which is that's kind of the same values that she has. So I think she sees herself reflected in him.
yeah.
And he doesn't want to be a king.
No, he does
He has
not.
no desire.
As soon as he
Yeah.
possibly could, he gave that shit up to
Yeah.
you.
to Sansa. And then, I mean, it didn't take, okay, it took a little bit of convincing a dragon had to die, but it didn't take a lot of time
Yeah.
in terms of the show for him to be convinced to bend the knee to Daenerys.
Yeah.
We never
Yeah.
actually see him do it.
Yeah.
As-
Well,
I pointed
out,
we were
but-
talking about this yesterday, that we never actually see him bend the knee and like say the words that you're supposed to say.
Right.
But then he like declares that he's loyal to her in front of everybody else, which kind of evens out, I suppose. But I don't know. I guess only time will tell. At least there'll be lots of fan fiction.
yeah.
I'm reading a
hope.
really good Daenerys one right now. I'll send it to you guys. It's like 300,000 words long.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Theory number 2. Melisandre will kill a key player.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I know we're
Convince
not.
me otherwise.
I know we're not done with Melisandre. We're definitely gonna
Yes,
see her
I
again.
think she will come back for sure.
And
Mostly because I feel like she wants to have part of the action. She
Yeah.
wants to be in the thick of it for some
Yeah.
reason. We're not really sure why.
She's really determined to make her prophecy come true.
Right?
yes, she every time what the Lord of Light told her didn't come to pass, she was like, oh well, I must have been reading it wrong. It was actually this.
She's
It's like
trying
cults
to
that
make
we
the-
see out in the world
yeah.
that are like, well, we
Oh,
read it wrong, so it's
Yeah.
actually this instead.
Yeah, she's desperate that it hasn't been a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she wants to believe that what she was doing was worth something.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, murdering a child is not okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Which is why I think that she's going to kill somebody else.
yeah.
I think she's going to take the Daenerys baby because how much more power would exist in that blood?
Oh,
We've
that's
seen what a king's blood can do, and this is the child
And
of a
the
Stark
mother
Targaryen.
raised dragons.
right.
Right. The child of a Stark
If-
Targaryen, and technically, doesn't Daenerys have Martell blood? Because isn't her mother from Dorne?
No. Well,
Where
I
is
don't.
Rhaenys from?
Yeah, I don't know actually. Was
Rhaenys?
it? I know
Oh my
that,
God,
I
it's
know
been a
that
while.
No, it's
Rhaegar's-
Rhaegar's.
Rhaegar's
first
wife
was
was-
a
is
Martell.
Elia.
Is Elia. I
So-
don't know about.
She might have been just pure Targaryen.
She might be.
I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
can't-
I feel
Rhaella.
like I just
Rhaella is her mother.
Yeah.
I don't remember what.
These Targaryen names, man.
Yeah, it's
It's
probably
crazy.
pure Targaryen. So it's
It's
like
unfair. How do you keep it straight? It's worse than Tolkien. I'll be honest, Germ. It's worse than Tolkien.
it's the truth. It's the truth.
And you can see, Tolkien fan, it's worse.
Especially when you start adapting names for dragons and
Yeah,
other
God.
people.
Come
His
on.
names were so confusing. They had to change names in the show.
Yeah.
Like
Yara.
Asha and
Asha.
Asha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have
Asha and
Asha
Osha.
and Yara.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, any
So
I think she's gonna get her hands on the Daenerys baby and use that blood for something.
I think that because she keeps bringing up the fact, like she brought it up to Jon and she brought it up to Daenerys, the whole thing about the prince who was promised. If their baby is the prince who was promised, then I don't know. Well, I don't know. know. Do you think
The
she would
princess
kill
is-
it?
The Princess
Or-
Promise is supposed to be Azor Ahai, right? Or are we conflating?
Well, book
Are
versus
we-
show.
Well, are we as readers and viewers conflating just as much as the characters are?
Right.
These
I think
different mythologies
that's
that
true.
they're told.
Yeah.
They want us to read more into the prophecy that is actually there.
Misdirection. Red
Yeah,
herring.
and I think if the prophecy comes true, it's going to come true in a way that none of us expect
No,
because
totally.
That's true.
because she's been seen to take it into her own hands.
Yeah.
Like these words that supposedly mean something. She's like, I'll make them mean something. So I
Right.
think she will kill somebody to get what she thinks will be fulfillment of the prophecy.
I could see her killing someone to get to the baby so that she has
Okay.
more control
Yeah.
over the child's outcome.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I see
You know,
that
because
too.
if she's directly involved in the raising of the child or the protection of the child.
Well, think about it. Like,
sacrificing the
from the
child to
very
Night
beginning,
King.
she was trying to fulfill the Azor Ahai prophecy.
Right.
She thought it was Stannis.
Right.
She made up a Lightbringer, all of this stuff.
Right.
Duped dozens, if not hundreds, of people into believing this thing.
Right.
So, is that her goal? Because if that's her goal,
I don't think
why would she kill somebody to get to the
that's the
baby?
thing about Melisandre is you don't really know what she wants.
She's a trickster archetype. You don't know if her intentions
Yeah.
are good or
Or
bad.
bad.
That's pretty true.
Because she's done good things and she's done bad things, and she always tells people slightly different variations.
Yeah, and the Lord of
things.
Light seems to be like, we're supposed to view it as this kind of like Messiah thing,
Mhm.
almost. The Lord of Light will save them, but
It's like a
what has
Christian.
the Lord of Light
sort
really done that's good except bring John back from the dead?
Yeah.
And was that,
Assumingly.
assumingly,
Yeah.
um,
We don't really know how that happened.
and she said she went back to Volantis, and I wouldn't be surprised there's been a lot of talk of magic from across the sea over the years, like with Varys,
Mm-hmm.
and then the House of the Undying. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if those themes come back, and she's the one that brings them back.
Right.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
So that magic versus the magic of Westeros, which would be the Night King.
Yeah. Side note: this is not a theory on our list, but speaking of the Houses of the Undying, House of the Undying, there's only one.
There's multiple now.
In
Do you-
Karth.
Right, yeah. But do you guys think that we'll see Bravos again? And do you think we'll see the House of White and Black again?
So, this kind of leads me to a theory that's not technically on our list.
Uh-huh.
It's
Just
not
throw
really.
them all in.
It's not really a theory, but it's just something that my husband and I were thinking about with the trailers that have come out. Is you see one of the most jarring images we see is of Arya
Running.
terrified,
Yeah.
running through what appears to be the crypts, maybe some halls in Winterfell, maybe both. Really fascinating because she's become such a fierce character who is she's fearless, you know?
Yeah.
She takes what she wants, she kills who she wants, she's ruthless to the core at this point. She's hardened by all these experiences she's had, and suddenly she's absolutely terrified. And we were supposed to be terrified as viewers watching that. Because it's all this foreshadowing, right?
Yeah.
Trying to hype us up. So
It worked.
one of the things that we were thinking was possibly maybe it's just reanimated corpses that she's running from and she's terrified, or maybe it's an assassin that's
Sent
come for her,
Jack and Hagar.
Jack and Hagar maybe, or Jack and Hagar with a face on. We don't know,
Yeah.
but somebody that's come for her and doesn't care about this other conflict. They're
Right.
removed from this, but it's her time to them. She's
Yeah.
taken too many lives that weren't hers to take,
Right.
and she owes the god.
Which they brought that up multiple times when we were in Bravos. The idea that she didn't have the right.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was paid for,
Right.
and
Because there's all this ritual involved in what they
Yeah.
do, and like
Exactly.
people have to come to them and give them
Yeah.
payment in order to.
Yeah. Well, and even the way that they put the faces on, it's this whole like blood ritual
Right.
that is not explored in the show at all.
No.
It's
It's
just
very
happens.
different.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
In case you don't,
Super
No.
gross in the books,
um,
like a lot of things.
like a lot of things.
Book 5.
Yeah, I really kind of hope that we see Jack and Hagar, if only to tie up that loose end, because when she left Bravos, we didn't really get
Yeah.
a conclusion, and he was such an important character who stuck around for so many seasons.
Who influenced her immensely.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
fact, people think he was serial Pharrell.
I think he was serial.
I
Pharrell.
do too. I want it like real
Yeah.
bad. You
Yeah.
know, he's literally been with her this whole time. He's
Yeah.
almost been grooming her since she was a child.
Yeah.
It's go on the internet, look it up.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. It's been a thing for a while. It's kind of an interesting mind bending theory. So yeah, I mean maybe they do pop up again in the middle of this
Yeah.
conflict, but
Possibly.
it's kind of interesting to see how that would play out because it's like they serve death. They
Right.
serve the many-faced God. Would they be part of this conflict in a positive way, or would they not care? Would they be ambivalent because death is death to them, and if
Right.
that's somebody's time, then
Yeah.
So
If the army is coming, then
That pretty much
Yeah.
all the magical powers in Essos, you don't know if they care about what happens with the Night King.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
It
It
was
seems
brought
to
up
be-
that they can't swim.
it seems to be
So-
a fairly
The
Westeros-centric
Westeros-centric thing. So
Thing.
do the powers in Esso, are they gonna just wait
Yeah.
Wait it out.
it out,
It
and
seems-
then come and reap the benefits?
What's interesting is it seems to be a Westeros-centric folklore tale of the Long Night, the Night King, the White Walkers, the actual words that are used.
Right.
But there is evidence, which is another theory that we're going to bring up later, that the Long Night and the Ice Age, let's call it,
Mhm.
actually was on both continents. It was all the way down
right.
because it was seen in a place in lower Essos
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
lower Volantis. I can't remember exactly where.
So maybe they will show us Bravos or Volantis or something, Miri,
Possibly.
and they might show
experiencing-
winter coming there too.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if
What if it gets cold
Snow
enough
and
to
the
freeze
rain.
the narrow sea?
what if they can walk across the water?
That we don't know if they can sail a ship or not.
That's true. Here's
and,
the thing.
And the Night
The
King
wo-
just
They're
needs
gonna
to
do all
fly the
Pirates of the
dragon.
Caribbean. You walk under the water. Like,
They
could.
The whites are obviously no more than reanimated corpses, but the White Walkers are intelligent. They're their own
Exactly.
species.
yeah.
And
They were made into being by ostensibly the Night King.
right.
I mean, they made a
Yeah.
point of saying they can't swim,
Yeah.
but the White Walkers could sail a ship.
The White Walkers.
The
not
Night
whites.
King can now fly a dragon and go turn a whole bunch of whites over in Essos.
That's our next theory. Arya is going to finish her kill list, including the Hound and Cersei. Yes, no, maybe so. You don't know. You know nothing.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm
You're
yes
in the
and
middle?
no. I'm in
Yes
the
and no?
middle. I'm in the middle.
I think that, well, I guess maybe I'm technically in the middle too, because I think that she's going to try really, really hard to finish her list, whether she will succeed or not. I mean, they might die in other
So it's like,
circumstances.
are people gonna be around? Like,
Yeah, she might not have the opportunity, because what if they're
Yeah.
all dead?
yeah.
Like,
I
so-
don't think that she's going to be able to bring herself to kill the Hound. I think
That's also
Sansa's
another
going to
reason why-
intercede for the Hound.
Mhm.
Plus, she also kind of had, really positive experiences with the guy in a certain regard. Like,
Yeah.
compared to all of the other crap she was dealing
And he
with.
saved
Yeah.
both her and her sister.
Well,
Yeah.
So I don't know if she's going to be able to kill the Hound, so I don't know if she's going to get to finish her list.
I think that I feel like right off the bat, if when she sees him, she might be like, "Oh, good, now I can kill you." But if she were to find out that he's on their side,
Yeah.
maybe she'd feel differently because he is a skilled fighter.
He also
Maybe.
saved John
He did also
above
save
the
John.
walls. So
This is true.
I think that maybe her Stark loyalty will start to shine through again, and I don't think she's going to be able to kill the Hound. So no, I don't. On a technicality, I don't think she's going to finish her list.
To that point, I kind of feel like Arya is continuing to soften.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The longer that she's around, because she never, ever really truly let go of being Arya Stark.
Right.
She went on this whole arc where she became no one.
Mhm.
But I honestly don't even think that was true. She learned all these skills,
Right.
but she never let go of being a Stark. And you kind of wonder if Starks ever actually can let go of that core of loyalty.
Right.
Everything that Ned Stark instilled in his children
Mhm.
Yeah.
is going to endure. There are
Yeah.
these honorable, upright, loyal, bright spots in
Mhm.
this just quagmire of disgusting, horrible, vitriolic, asinine cesspool of people that are most of the rest of the ruling families in
Right.
Westeros. And you have these people that, they have flaws. Their honor leads them to do such self-sacrificing things that to the point where they get killed because of it, because they don't understand that other people that are more ruthless are going to take advantage of that, because we know in the world the more ruthless generally pretty much win.
Right.
But losing that, my point is losing that core of what it means to be a Stark, I don't think is something that she's capable of. And the more that she's around Starks now, back in the environment that she grew up in, and building a relationship with Sansa, forgiving her for things that happened when they were kids and vice versa.
And she also has Brienne.
She also has Brienne. And Jon's coming back. Okay?
Yes, they're reunited.
I'm back. I'm back. Got my sisters. It's all a thing. I'm just saying, okay, they have such a super close relationship. I think you're probably right that his influence is going to be there, and she's not going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we all want Sansa to finish her list, but I think Arya.
Does Sansa have a list? It had one name on it. Littlefinger, and he's gone. Gone.
I mean, sure, also had Ramsay and Joffrey, but they're both gone.
They're both gone. Exactly.
Girl,
high five her.
High five her.
She's.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. The longer that Arya is home, I think maybe the less anger she will feel.
Yeah. And I think she might see her list as pointless in face of
in
the White Walker army coming.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Because she didn't know about it when she was killing all the Freys.
Right.
And she made that choice at the crossroads in season 7. She chose to go north.
Yeah.
So, as cool as I think it would be to have that circle of her finishing the list, I don't think, in terms of a personality arc, I don't think she's going to finish the list. So I say no.
That's fair.
I mean, I hope, as someone who likes to write things, that they would choose that character arc for her rather than just keeping her murderous for 6 seasons.
I find every time she crosses the name off the list, I get this sick satisfaction out of it. And and so
because they're usually people that deserve to die. But the people remaining on her list, for the most part, have also had this.
They've changed,
with the exception of Cersei.
Yeah, that's true.
The Hound has changed.
Yeah.
Is that lead us to our
next?
Segue.
So, next theory. Jaime is going to kill Cersei. I don't know. I just voted this on the last one, so I feel like I have to vote this on.
Well, it's a little bit down the middle.
Yeah,
because these ladies have convinced me of some things that I maybe didn't see before. That's hard because I have a really strong affinity for the books, and there's a lot of stuff in the books about Jaime because he's my favorite.
I love Jaime.
Jaime's great.
Jon's right behind it, but he's my favorite. Read the books. You will love Jaime.
Yeah,
immensely.
If you don't love him in the show, which Nicolaj is...
I feel as though his character growth is possibly one of the most drastic.
I think he has the most profound character
we
change.
really see his development. He has it's incredible.
Yeah.
And
you go from despising this guy.
Yeah.
Believe me.
You really root
for
him.
an 8-year-old.
You should despise him at the beginning. And he goes and you understand why he did everything he has done in his life.
Yeah.
And then he turns his back on Cersei completely and becomes his own man and is super honorable and trustworthy and wonderful, and he and Brienne are bros, and it's anyway, so back to the point at hand.
Yes.
Is he or is he not going to kill Cersei?
I mean, we've talked about this at length.
A lot.
Hello.
Put your phone on silent, House Stark.
Lady.
It is
Lady Stark.
Lady Stark, how could you? Your mother taught you better.
Sorry.
Tell Catelyn.
We've talked about this at length, and I did at one point become fairly convinced, based on something you told me, about it might look to us like it's Jaime, but it might not actually be Jaime. Would you care to elaborate?
Okay, so here, I'll just tell you why I think it's going to be no. It's not going to be Jaime to kill Cersei for 2 reasons. One, I think Jaime is now at this point of honor and nobility, and he's finally the knight that he always wanted to be, that he's not going to kill his sister.
Right.
Although it wouldn't have a nice symmetry to it if he killed the Mad Queen and he also killed the Mad King. But that aside, I think if we see Jaime kill Cersei, it's actually going to be Arya with Jaime's face. And so Cersei will believe it's Jaime killing her, but it's actually Arya.
Which is what they've convinced me of.
Yeah.
I kind of think that might be it.
I personally think, like, I hate Cersei, but in a great way.
She's
fun to
she's
hate.
an
amazing character.
Yeah,
She's so good as a character. You should hate her.
Yeah.
But
I
you
But
love to
also
hate her.
understand like where she comes from as a mother and like
Right.
all these
One
things.
queen to another, I respect her. Even though she's horrible. And we've seen in season 2 when they had the battle, I can't remember the name
Blackwater
of it.
Bay.
Blackwater Bay. She was ready to drink poison and to kill herself and her son. And I think that this strong, scary, violent woman will kill herself before she lets anybody kill her. So the only way she could be murdered by somebody else is if she thought it was Jaime.
Right.
So I'm gonna say, no, Arya, or no, Jaime will not kill Cersei. It'll be either Arya or she's gonna kill herself, which I kind of hope that she kills herself. Is that a horrible thing to hope for?
Well, I mean,
I want her to go out on her own terms.
She cares about power. That's
Yeah.
her main. Now that she has no children, well, she's pregnant.
She actually
we believe
tells
that
Jaime in
Yeah.
season 7?
Mm-hmm.
No, season 6. Right at the beginning of it, that they're all they have left. And
Right.
the power is all they have left.
Yeah.
And so they're leaving a legacy for themselves.
Right.
So you're right, all she
Yeah.
cares about is her
And-
own advancement.
And I think that if she realizes that she's not going to have power in the realm anymore, the greatest power she'll have is over her own life.
Yeah,
and
she'd be
she's
like,
not
I'm
gonna let
deprive you of
she
that
would,
satisfaction.
She would straight up be like Cleopatra and be like, no, you're not going to parade me through the streets. I'll kill myself before you do that. Because then she retains the power.
The only time she gave
And-
up that power was to get back to Tommen.
Exactly.
When
And
she
he's
was
gone.
naked and paraded through the
Right.
streets. She has no
Right.
reason to do that, so
She
I
has
think
nothing now.
that she's going to be like, screw y'all, I'm going to go out on
Yeah.
my own terms. You
Yeah.
can't kill me because I kill myself.
Right.
That seems like the kind of pettiness that Cersei would embrace.
Yeah. Well, and we have seen
And
her
I-
almost do it before.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
very
Well,
close.
and you know, why I'm on the fence is there's a lot more in the books between her and Jaime
Right.
that lead me to believe that there's a lot of deterioration and vitriol and hatred that comes to life in their relationship that might lead him to do it as a crime of passion. In the
Right.
show, though, they haven't actually explored that, and he
No,
left
right.
her way before any of this in the show. This was a while back that he actually left her.
Mhm.
So I don't think they're going to do that in the show. However, a lot of they have had language like this early on in the show, when we saw a lot more interaction between them, when they're talking about their relationship, and then it happens a lot in the book. They say that they came into this world together,
Right.
and they're going to go out of it together, one way or another.
Yeah.
That she in Cersei chapters, she says, "I would know if he was dead."
Right. Right.
You know,
Mhm.
so either I think he's going to die and she's going to know, and also the walls are closing in on her, and she's going to kill herself. The walls are closing in on her, and he's not dead, and she's going to kill herself, because he
Yeah.
also says in the books, and I think he also said some things to Brienne in the show, that they came into this world together, they're
Right.
going to leave it together, so he would either, you know, throw himself into battle to sacrifice himself in you know, a very heroic manner, but trying to achieve death, or
Because he feels her
kill
dying. I think
himself.
that would happen.
Yeah.
you know, they have. I know it's again, it's kind of weird and disgusting, but they have this strong connection.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of weird supernatural stuff in this show. It's very
Yeah.
bizarre. You know, it draws on fantasy tropes that involve supernatural elements and spiritual elements.
I think
and
the thing about the twins,
They-
though,
they have this
It's
connection.
like
it's on an
otherworldly
otherworldly connection.
Yeah.
It's on
I
another
mean,
level.
Yeah.
that's
So-
like, my stepdad is a twin, and he and his brother
Yeah,
have this
it's
weird,
crazy.
they will call each other at the exact same second.
Yeah.
Oh
From
yeah.
states
I mean,
apart.
And honestly, when
just
you're
so-
super close with people, you
yeah.
kind of end up having like almost like a Vulcan mind melt sometimes.
Yeah.
You
So-
think the
I
same.
mean, just even the way they've done studies on twins who grew up apart
yeah.
and how similar they are,
Nature
and
versus
they've
nurture,
never
and they're-
met each other.
Yeah.
So imagine them; they spent every moment of their
Every
lives
moment.
together. How much stronger that would be.
Right.
So okay, yeah, I'm still kind of torn because I like the theory that it's Arya with Jaime's face, but I also
It would be very poetic.
it would be poetic, but then at the same time, like I don't know.
But-
I'm really conflicted about
But if
this
she
one.
knows that Jamie's dead already,
If Jamie dies, say, defending Bran, which I think would be something that could happen,
I
then
hope it
if she
happens.
feels it, yeah, she might be
I
like,
think
well,
she
I
will.
just lost the only person in the world that loves me.
So
I'm
who do
out.
you think-
Literally, the only thing that's left, the
Yeah.
only reason that she's fighting is for their family anymore,
Right,
and
right.
their family is down to just the two of them.
Yeah, because she doesn't consider Tyrion to be
No.
any
No.
type of family member.
So who do you think will die first, Cersei or Jamie?
I think Jamie's going to die first. I
Yeah.
think he's either going to die in battle, or Arya is going to kill him,
Mm-hmm.
or something of that regard, and then she's
Yeah.
going to know.
She'll know and then end it.
And then
Yeah.
I mean, we do see. There's been lots of theories about whether she's actually pregnant or not in season 7. For a while, I thought maybe she was just saying it to like keep Jamie with her. But if she is pregnant at the end of season 7, in season 8 promos we see her drinking wine, and
I think it was 100% to
A lie.
Jamie.
yeah,
100%.
I think she might be pregnant.
Other theory, but
I
related.
think she might be pregnant, and when we see her, she's lost the baby.
That could be.
And I mean,
Maybe.
time travels so fast. She could have already given birth.
That's also true.
so
yeah.
I think the glimpse of her, we
Like
see her
her-
of her drinking wine, is her killing herself.
Could be.
I
I mean,
think
she
she's
has
doing
like
maybe
this.
some poison
She has
wine.
like this weird smile on her face while she's doing it in the
Yeah.
promo. What if they're showing? Yeah.
What
that's
if
a good point.
what if like it's her hearing people like breaking into the Red
And
Keep,
she's like, bye. Straight up like Olenna.
I would
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I personally would like for her to have a baby, because when Tyrion is then the last Lannister standing, he would be the one to actually carry on the line, which nobody thought would happen in his family. So he could
I'd
take
be
care
okay
of
with that.
the Cersei
Yeah, I could see
Jamie
that.
baby, and hopefully it doesn't turn out like Joffrey.
Yeah.
Not a
Well,
Joffrey
it wouldn't
cartoon.
because Tyrion's raising it,
Yeah.
not
yeah.
Cersei.
And we know how distraught he is that he's lost all his nieces and nephews.
Yeah, he would be a
And
good father.
he would be a good father.
So,
Definitely.
and I think that that would be a good ending point for Tyrion.
yeah.
Because it would be his like happy ending. He would get Casterly Rock, and he would get to continue the family line, something he never thought he would get.
That's true
So-
because
And I just want Tyrion to be happy and drink wine for the rest of his life.
Confirmation that the Starks are related to or descended from White Walkers. Oh yeah.
For
yes,
sure.
yes.
100%.
100%. I remember when I was still reading the books, and I came across an online theory about Bran and his possible connections with the Night King, and it just seemed so far-fetched to me at the time. But the more I read and the more I watched, the more I became convinced that there is
Yeah, these
for
things
sure.
seem like crackpot until you actually
And-
start looking for the
yeah.
evidence. And like, look, everything that George R. R. Martin puts in the book is there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not there just randomly. It's not there just to be descriptive.
Yeah.
It's not there to be poetic. Like, it's there to lead you down a certain path.
Right.
Mhm.
There's all these threads through it. So, they seem crackpot, but are they?
Are they?
I mean, yeah, I think when you're first introduced, it just seems so far-fetched, and then when you realize the layers of history that went into the creation of this world,
So you want to talk about the Night's King and kind of in the book it's the Night's
Yeah.
King, in the show it's the Night King. He's the guy that
Right.
looks like the ice with the
He
crown.
looks like
Yeah.
He's
well, I'm
riding
not gonna go there yet.
Viserion in the end of season 7. When
Yeah.
he destroys the wall. That guy.
So, I mean, we watched some pretty interesting videos not long ago on YouTube, which
About
we
the
will
crypts.
we'll link below. We watched some really interesting videos about the crypts and the significance and the history in the books of the Night's King.
Which they're only shallowly alluded to,
Right, and the whole
because there's
thing.
some very like heavy conversations that happen in the
Yeah.
crypt,
Yeah,
but you don't actually get the history of the crypts. It's
Right.
just very like through use of like
You get the
props and
history
stuff
that
alluded
under
to.
Winterfell there is this whole network of crypts where Starks are buried.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And they're all in these coffins with statues of them in
Yeah.
front of them, and they have iron swords
right.
laid on top of them. So that's
To yeah, many people have said that this is to prevent White Walkers from exiting the grave.
right.
Which I mean, it doesn't.
I mean, it's a reference to old mythology,
Right,
Iron keeps
kills
like
the
fairies
fae and
and-
stuff
yeah.
like that away.
So
And there's
So-
that phrase, there must always be
Be
a
a
Stark
Stark
in
in
Winterfell.
Because
notice
blood
that-
magic possibly is keeping these things bonded to the earth.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
season that the Night King gained the most power was the season there was no Stark in Winterfell.
Right.
Really.
And we saw what happened when there was no Stark in Winterfell. Things
Right.
went sideways.
horrible.
Yeah.
And there was this John made a huge deal in season 2 or 3 about how he has the blood of the First Men. And we know that the White Walkers and the First Men are related.
Mm-hmm.
So it just,
That's we
that,
saw through Bran's vision. The first,
Exactly.
literally, the Night King being
Yeah, it was-
made
yeah.
by the children of the,
The
forest.
snow doesn't seem
The-
to affect the Starks
At all.
At all, yeah.
They're described as having ice in their veins.
Yes.
They're
Benjen
impervious
didn't
to
get
the cold.
turned.
Benjen didn't get turned. He's,
yeah.
In the show, he's cold hands, so
Yeah.
he is an intelligent white,
Right.
Yeah.
which is weird.
Yeah,
John-
It's not normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. John fell into the frozen lake in
And
season
didn't
7
die.
and didn't die.
Yeah.
Which
It's kind of it's kind of the
Yeah.
opposite of what's going on with Daenerys, where she's impervious to fire.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much backstory there that doesn't get explored in the show. The idea of the Starks giving babies to the White Walkers, which again we'll link videos that explain. Could be as simple as he is a Stark who was trapped on the other side of the wall and he wants to go home.
He wants Winterfell.
Yeah, like, I mean, it could be more complex than that, but it could also be like that thing about Starks feel drawn to that location.
For some reason.
Yeah.
For some reason, they feel this like magnetism,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe that's all it is. I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
find out.
I don't think he wants the Iron Throne.
I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares.
And I don't think that he wants the world to just be all whites, because then what is there for him to rule other than rotting corpses?
I don't think he wants
I
to
think
rule
he
anything.
wants something totally different than what we have
Can
put our
perceive.
exactly.
If he
as
wants
humans.
something in Winterfell, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're
yeah.
right.
So
A Night Queen.
a Night Queen. Well, there is a Night's Queen in the books,
In
which
the
again,
books.
you should read the books. Speaking of the Night King, we have several theories in regards to him. Not well, kind of motivation, kind of not motivation. Next theory is that Jon will replace the Night King. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. But I'm curious to know why you believe it's yes.
So there's several reasons. One is I actually believe that one of his motivations is he wants the prince that was promised. That literally the prince was promised to him.
Right.
And that during the last long night, that was a promise that was made to him by the Stark family that currently existed then.
Right.
That when maybe it was a prophecy that was given, but maybe not. I'm not entirely sure how it came about, but it's kind of difficult to like piece through all of the details of the book and in the show. But honestly, I think that Jon is the prince that was promised. That it needed to come from Rhaegar's line. There was the prophecy about the Song of Ice and Fire. That's why Rhaegar probably pursued Lyanna, even though it appears that they actually did end up falling in love. They had Jon. Jon is the descendant of these two major houses and these incredible bloodlines, which in this story, blood magic and bloodlines are incredibly important.
Right.
And one of the reasons that we know that the Children of the Forest chose the person that became the Night King in the first place was because of his strong Stark blood. We were led to believe he was a Stark.
Right.
These are powerful beings. They're traditionally able to perform earth magic and warg and all of these different things, just like the Targaryens can control dragons
Right.
and, weave spells and things that have to do with fire. So he's the descendant of both of these incredibly strong houses. And I think that he was promised this prince if he would go away
Right.
and give them peace, and has been waiting for this child to basically come into his own, come into fruition as far as his power level, so
Right.
that he can be replaced,
Right.
a la the Flying Dutchman. And this is something that it kind of started as an inkling that he wanted to replace himself in my head, and then there's been a ton of evidence for this that other people on the internet have they've
Right.
obviously had the same idea and picked up the torch and ran with it as far as
Right.
finding evidence in the books and finding evidence in the shows. I honestly
Yeah.
think he's trying to replace himself.
Yeah.
I think he's done.
I
I think he's
I mean-
he's had it and he's looking for he's
Yeah.
promised this individual. This individual
Yeah.
now exists.
I agree with your reasoning. I don't know that I believe it's John, but I
possible.
definitely do think, and this kind of ties back in with a little bit what we were hinting at earlier, the idea that the Starks owe the White Walkers babies.
Something.
Oh, yeah.
And I've come across a few theories that talk about how even Craster was descended from Starks,
Yeah.
and that's why he has the alliance with them where he gives them all his male children.
Right.
And so yeah, I could definitely see him looking for that particular perfect baby to replace himself.
What if
There's
it's the Daenerys baby?
maybe it's the
It could
Daenerys
be.
For the
baby.
I think it's all about the Daenerys baby.
I could see where that could be a thing. I just don't know that it's John, and I'll tell you why when we get to the next theory. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Oh, I just wanted to thank Bobby Dawnbringer on Free Folk. I'm a huge r/Free Folk person, and your theory kind of like coalesced a lot of the things that I was thinking and others were thinking, and also I want to thank All Shipped X for he does these incredible videos on YouTube. If you don't know him, you should check him out. Really, really great. Kind of distills a lot of fan theories that you see here on the internet in amazingly well done PowerPoint slash visual collage type videos where he explains everything pretty succinctly. And both of these individuals really kind of codified what I was trying to mull in my own head, which was that Jon is going to replace the Night King, which would be incredibly sad.
Yeah,
He's been so isolated and alone, as Bobby Dawnbringer kind of, and we'll link that post down in the
Yes.
description below because it was very well written.
Yeah.
Do you think he would take Daenerys as his Night Queen?
I don't know if Daenerys will be alive or not, and I don't know if she'd be able to or would want to, but yes, I hope so. But I mean, honestly, like, with the biggest thing is you're isolated and alone. There is
Right.
nothing like you.
Mhm.
The White Walkers are not the same thing as the Night King.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for him to take on that mantle, which he would do out of honor if he knew that it was the only thing that was going to stave off the Whites.
Oh yeah,
from-
he would sacrifice himself in that.
He would
regard.
absolutely sacrifice
Yeah.
himself because he is Ned
We've
Stark
seen
coming in.
Yeah.
And he's already done that before.
Yeah.
That's incredibly sad and tragic, and I feel like that's something that
It's totally how the show might end.
it's how this
true.
so I mean, because again, George is borrowing from a lot of different influences, and I feel like one of those things is Shakespeare.
Oh yeah.
And that's really common. It's that a character is so noble
Very
and
King Lear.
self-sacrificing
Mhm.
that he will make the ultimate choice and
Right.
be miserable and alone
Right.
or die in order to save everyone else. And I think that Jon is that character.
Yeah.
So it's sad, but
But
It could happen.
It's plausible.
it's plausible. And I think that the Night
I-
King potentially is trying to make that come to fruition.
Yeah.
Because he's also a Greenseer. We know, because of his connection with Bran, that he has the ability to see into the
Right.
future of the past.
Right.
And he's already seen this happen.
Could be.
Mhm.
I just...
Alright.
Next theory.
Person who it might be.
Daenerys will replace the Night King. I'm gonna say yes, and I'll because I feel like I would be totally convinced by the Jon theory, but I came across an article totally by accident. I wasn't even looking for theories that talked about all the symbolism that we've seen for Daenerys in terms of being beyond the wall. And yes, that could culminate in the fact that she went beyond the wall in season 7. But there's that whole, in case you don't remember what I'm talking about, there's the vision that she sees where she is in a wintry place, and we know it's beyond the wall, and there's the tent with her husband there and all these things. And the post that I was reading, which I will link below, talked about how this is foreshadowing not for season 7, but for season 8. And kind of for similar reasons that you already discussed. And so that kind of stuck with me. And I don't know. I feel like maybe she would do it to stay with her dragons if all her dragons died. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Those are her children.
You feel very strongly against what I'm saying.
Yes, blue is not Daenerys' color. She can't be a Night King, Night Queen.
So, I mean, that's kind
And
of...
fire has no place beyond the wall.
Unless she makes it her own world.
Ice fire, that's true.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a crazy theory, but ever since I read it, I couldn't get it out of my head. Especially because we did see that vision in which she leaves the person that she loves, in which case, if this is season 8 and she's leaving John, like, to fulfill a destiny.
And she would leave their
go-
baby.
So what do you think that would be the reason that she would choose it aside from staying with her dragons?
I think that she would. I'm trying to remember all the reasons that were in the post, but for me personally, I think she would do it to be with the dragons. I think that if she losing one is hard and horrible, but if she loses the other two, I mean, I don't know. I'm
Do you think
sounding very incompetent at the moment.
No. I think part of what you said was that you think that a lot of the reasons that I articulated about John are kind of
Yeah.
it goes back to they're very similar.
They
They're
are
just
very
kind of two different
similar.
sides of the same coin,
Yeah.
yin and yang.
And they do talk about, like, it could be, the translation is the princess that was
Right.
promised.
I kind of feel like that
So-
was written for the show.
That's
though.
okay,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
it might
It's
have
all
been.
good.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But,
But like I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think that she is self-sacrificing.
yeah.
She is noble.
Mhm.
She would be willing to do that. I think to save other people that she
Yeah.
because she genuinely seems to care about the small folk.
Yeah,
about the
she
rest
doesn't
of the
want
world.
to kill off
No.
all the, and she's made that decision to not sack
She's
King's
made-
Landing as a result.
And she did that several times.
Right. And I think, too, that if she knows I'm not the last Targaryen, because that's a lot of her motivation has been, I'm the last Targaryen, I have to reclaim what belongs to my family. But if she knows she's not the last, if she knows Jon is a Targaryen, and if they have a baby, I think she might be like, okay, well, it will continue without me.
Yeah.
I can go and be with my first children,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
And save the world.
And save the world. And she doesn't want to be anything like her father.
Because remember, this theory is that the Night King is going to replace himself with her.
With Daenerys.
Yeah.
Just
and-
like the last one was replace himself with Jon. So this
Right.
is now Daenerys.
Yeah. And I feel as though, because she's so desperate to be different from her father, if she could go down as being the person who saved
Yeah.
everybody,
that'd be a good reason.
I mean, I feel like she would do it to be different.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be anything like him.
Yeah.
And instead of being the one that kills everyone, if she's the one that saves everyone. Anyway, so that was something that I just could not get rid of for like the longest time. All right, another Night King related theory. Bran Stark is the Night King. I could see this being true.
Yeah, I could definitely see it being true. I don't know if that's how the book is going to go. I kind of feel like the show is setting up.
I feel
setting
like
it up
the
pretty
show is
hard.
really setting it up.
Yeah, there's been tons of fan
There's
theories
pretty
about
hard.
this.
There will be a link.
Yeah,
There's a
so-
whole Reddit thread about this.
You've probably come across this.
Yeah,
we
it's
certainly
pretty
did
common.
a long time ago.
It's a
Well, I
pretty
just-
common.
The first thing to me that's really interesting is like Bran still seemed to have a personality even after he had become the Three-Eyed Raven. So remember he traveled beyond the wall, found the giant weirwood tree, and underneath of that were Children of the Forest and Blood Raven, who was the Three-Eyed Raven, which
Right.
from the first season when he was having the dreams and the raven was flying around and in the book it
Yeah.
talks to him.
Right.
So we went to find this guy, and this guy is like the super powerful seer and can see in the future and the past and the present what's going on. And
Yeah.
he showed him what happened, how John was
With his
born,
family.
with his family,
With Hodor.
with Hodor,
Yeah.
all this stuff. So
Yeah.
he took on that guy's power,
Yeah.
and he
He-
still seemed to have a personality right
He-
at first.
He lost a lot of himself, but he said, and I thought this was so important, he said, I remember what it was like to be Bran Stark.
Right.
So even if he's not really Bran, he remembers Bran, and I think that gives him an
Yeah.
element still of Starkism.
Right.
Yeah.
What I was going
Um,
to say, what was really interesting, is that he then had that moment where the Night King saw him when he
Right.
was working,
Yes.
when he was going back in time.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, he seemed to kind of lose himself more and more
That's
in the
true,
show. And to
yeah.
the point where, like, Mira's like, hello,
Who are
do
you?
you not freaking remember who
Right.
I am and what we mean to each other and stuff? And he was like, I just don't even
I
care.
think that the biggest, and I mean, there's so many theories about why Bran is the Night King. I think the biggest clue is in how Hodor became Hodor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Bran went back in time and war, like his warging into Hodor went back so far that he changed who Hodor was.
Right.
And I think that Bran might end up doing that to himself.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
I think he
interesting.
might warg so far back to see how the Night King started that he actually
Wargs
creates.
into himself.
He creates the Night
Himself.
King and leaves part of himself
Yeah.
there.
Because
So
we
maybe the Night
understand
King's
that
coming
cyclical.
to like reunite with himself.
Maybe.
Maybe Bran and the Night King meeting will end the Night King's life.
And
'cause-
maybe he needed Bran to actually come into his own power
Right.
so he could.
so he could do this and complete.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, based on what you guys have both literally just said, I mean, it would make sense for maybe Bran lost himself, not because he became the Three-Eyed Raven, but because he encountered the Night King. It's
it's a
if
paradox.
you think about like Doctor Who type stuff,
It's
meeting
very-
yourself can change so many, it has so many ripple
and
effects.
there's a lot of theories about, in physics about how time works
Yes.
and whether it's possible to go back in time
Yeah.
and change anything or not. Does
Right.
that actually change? Or does it honestly becomes a paradox.
Does
So
you going
it's
back
the
in
grandfather
time
principle.
cause-
If you go back and
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes back to say, like, see how the White Walkers were created.
To maybe see how to destroy them.
Yeah, because we know that the Children of the Forest created the White Walkers.
Right,
But
right.
he was like, okay, let's see how they were created, and he ends up leaving himself in one of the White Walkers,
Yeah.
and that White Walker becomes the Night King.
Could be.
maybe.
Yeah.
So he's like, we've already seen that he can mess with time
Yeah.
and the causation of events because
Right.
of his abilities.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he is actually the Night King. And if you look
Yeah.
at the actor who plays
They
the Night
look
King,
very
similar.
they look a lot alike.
Yeah.
Also, he
Underneath all
didn't
those
kill John
prosthetics.
at Hardhome.
He didn't.
He didn't kill John.
Yeah. And so if there still is an element of himself in there,
So that could be
yeah.
he didn't want to kill John because he wants
Right.
to replace himself with John, and because
Right.
he recognized John as having powerful blood.
Right.
Or maybe it's Bran, and he's like, oh crap, that's my brother.
I mean, it definitely, going back to the idea of Hodor that you brought up, like the fact that he caused Hodor to become Hodor, but he didn't know
he was doing
that he was doing it because Hodor was already Hodor since
To him.
before Bran was born, and so the idea that like
he's only ever known him as
he's
Hodor.
only ever known, and so the fact that he might go back in time and just
He thinks
By
he's helping.
accident.
He thinks
Yeah.
he's helping,
Cause
like,
these
oh,
things.
I'm going to figure out how to kill the White Walkers
right,
by figuring out how they were created. And then
And
he
instead
ends
he
up
causes it.
creating the Night King.
right. I mean,
It
I can
seems
see
like
it.
the stupid thing that Game of Thrones would do to us.
That-
like,
yeah,
we're like,
I could see
ah, Bran, if you had thought a little more, you
Also-
could have prevented this.
Tormund and Brienne's baby is the prince that was promised. Sure, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why?
I mean, I just want them to like have big babies.
That's what
Honestly,
Tormund wants
this
to.
theory was in here just so we could talk about Tormund and Brienne. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
No shame. Love it.
They're
Ship
great.
it super hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny.
Even
it's
if
so
they don't
great.
romantically get together, I
Yes.
want them to.
I want them to
be
travel
bros.
together.
Yeah.
I want
Drink
bros.
together.
I want her to soften up a little bit and like let down her guard
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
have a little bit of fun. You know, she's a
And-
rad character.
I love that
Gwendolyn Christie's amazing.
She's
Yes.
fantastic, and
Goddess.
I love that he appreciates her in all her qualities.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not like,
He
oh, you
doesn't
need to
want
wear a
to-
dress,
he
or
just
like
wanna
he just
change
admires
he
her.
admires her the way she is, and he's like, oh, a big woman, I like that. Oh, she
Yeah.
can pummel me, I like that.
And he finds her sexy.
He finds her
He
sexy.
finds her sexy.
And the fact that, I mean, I think that he's so accepting of that, and I think that she needs someone who-
All women need somebody like that in their lives.
Yep.
yeah.
Man, woman, whatever your gender preference is, you need to find somebody that looks at you the way
Just
Tormund
accept
looks
And
at
I
you.
mean, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
mad if Tormund took his shirt off.
That would be fine. That was
Like, I've been waiting for how
Yeah.
many seasons for this to happen, and if he
Yeah.
and Brienne get it on, then I'll finally get to see it.
and I mean, he, yeah.
I love
It's
Tormund.
great, and he doesn't feel the need to. I like that he's not like, oh, I want this woman, I'm gonna take her. He's like, nope, she'll come when she's ready.
Which is
Yep.
which is not typical of his culture, to be
Right,
honest.
right.
He wants to
He-
win her affection. He
Yeah.
wants to win her
Yeah.
admiration. He respects her.
Yeah, and I just love that so much.
Yeah.
Oh man. And I mean,
And imagine the eyebrow game
Oh,
for their baby.
Yeah, right?
so
like,
their baby could totally
Daenerys
rule
would have
the Seven
competition.
Kingdoms. I mean,
I would be
yeah.
okay with that.
It would
I
be
would
great.
be okay with that. If everybody else is dead and it's Tormund and Brienne and their baby, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
And maybe a dragon.
And maybe a dragon or
Maybe a
two.
dragon. I'd be okay with that.
I know that not everyone's gonna have a happy ending, and I just want someone
Yeah.
to have something.
I'm hoping that they really use these two actors to create the comedic relief that we are going
Yes.
to need.
Yes.
I mean, just
You're going to
the
need
shots
it.
of like him looking across the room at her,
Oh, the
and
one
he's
at
got
the
like
beginning,
that
he's like,
face.
Yeah. and she's like,
Oh yeah, it's so great, and it is much needed comic relief because
Yeah.
the show is very heavy
Yeah.
and very sad.
Yeah.
So
And I think we need.
dealing with a lot of depressing themes. And,
yeah.
you know, in those times in our lives, there's always something that kind of makes you chuckle.
Yeah.
Or makes you, you know,
Yeah.
turn to each other and kind of just have a wry smile, you know? And
Yeah.
those are the types of beats and moments that I think
Yeah.
the show should have a little bit more of sometimes. It
And
shouldn't
I
be
mean-
all violence and sex and
Yeah.
gore and stuff,
Right.
you know? We need some humanity in there.
You
Part of
have to
human
have-
is finding horrible situations funny in some
Yeah.
ways.
You
And-
have to sometimes to survive.
Yeah.
Like,
If there isn't some kind of like insane, like petty jealousy between Tormund and Jaime Lannister when Jaime finally gets to Winterfell, like what
Oh,
is
man.
he even seeing?
Which there's a
Yeah.
there's a part of me that ships Jamie Brienne. There-
me too, a little.
Like-
I want
like-
there to be like a little competition for Brienne's affection.
Yes!
I feel like she deserves
Because
that.
I feel like Jamie also respects Brienne
He
in
does.
a very similar way that Tormund does.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
He does.
And she would never do him dirty the way Cersei did.
No.
No,
No,
I don't
but-
think that they're gonna get together. But I wouldn't mind there being a
Gross.
little competition for Brienne's
Yeah.
affections
Yeah.
because
Well, and if you
She
think
deserves
about
it.
like his change really in the show started when he was with Brienne.
Yeah.
And I think that you can't ignore that.
He had a
Right.
strong female influence that was not his sister.
Right. For the
Yeah.
first time in his life.
Yeah, because she's super domineering.
Yeah.
And Brienne's a very strong, forceful personality
Right.
herself. Not necessarily domineering, but doesn't take shit from anybody. And it's
Right.
kind of the first woman, aside from his sister, like you said, that for the first time in his life,
Yeah.
yeah.
he was experiencing nothing but the company of.
Right.
And
Yeah, I think that he wouldn't have left Cersei if Brienne hadn't said to him, like, in that same episode, like, fuck loyalty.
like, what's
Yeah.
wrong
Like, what
with
does
you?
it matter
Yeah.
in terms of, like, this war? Like, none
Right.
of this matters. This, like, house duty, this, like,
Right.
obligation to the crown. It
All
doesn't
that matters
matter.
is honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And the fact that that came from her, the most loyal person
Mhm.
possibly ever. She was going on what was a fool's errand to
Yeah.
find these girls because she swore an oath to someone who's dead.
Yeah.
Like, and she even named her sword Oathbringer.
Yeah.
Like, and so the fact that he heard those words from her, I think, made more of an impact than if anybody else had said it.
yeah.
Because he was there and he understands her dedication and like how loyal she is, and so for her to be like, actually, there's something more important.
Yeah, so I
so
want the trifecta
that's-
to me. I want Jamie,
The
Tormund, and Brienne.
trifecta.
Yes. I want them to
could
like
dig it.
fight back to back or something. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I want them to have this like mutual admiration and respect for each other. And I feel like Tormund and Jamie might be good friends.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Because I feel like Tormund has that like
He's
silliness that
everyone.
Tyrion has,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think that Jamie appreciates that about Tyrion. So
Yeah.
I think that Tormund and Jamie could have like this
Yeah.
friendly competition for Brienne's attention. Maybe not romantic, maybe just
Yeah.
friendly. But I want that.
I want
Yeah.
I want to see that interaction in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
warm my heart
agreed.
if we got to see all three of them having scenes.
Yeah.
Drinking beer, a drinking game between the three of them.
Oh my
Can you
God.
Imagine arm wrestling.
Oh.
We have arrived at our final theory for A Song of Fans and Theories. Alright, last theory is everybody dies.
What? Wow.
including her lip gloss.
I could see this happening.
It's probable. It's probable.
Very
Yeah,
likely.
it's probable.
We've already learned that anybody can die.
Anybody can die. Nobody's safe, especially your favorites.
Nope.
And what was that? The article that we read?
Oh yeah, years ago we read an article with JRM, and he said something like that the end of the series, which I think he was just referring to the book, which could also be in the show, was just going to be a total wasteland.
Everything
Devoid of life.
desolate.
Desolate wasteland.
Yeah.
And it's looking more and more likely that might be the end.
I feel like it was supposed to just be foreshadowing and metaphorical, but the latest trailer certainly led us to believe that because it's literally Winterfell devoid
Yeah.
of all life, and
The name of that clip is The Aftermath.
yeah.
And I think that that's really telling.
I
Right.
feel like not many of our faves are going to survive.
And if you think back to the very first teaser images that they released, it was the frost creeping across the map, and everything gets covered in frost. And I think I don't think they would show us that if it didn't mean something.
Yeah.
So,
I think we're
Yeah.
going to see the end of all the major houses. When Daenerys said she was going to break the wheel, I don't think it's going to be her. I think it's going to be the Night King that breaks
Yeah.
the wheel.
Yeah, and I think it's fairly possible that things are going to get much more dire than they currently seem like
Yeah.
they're going to.
right.
Until potentially, because it is a TV show and they want a happy ending, otherwise there will be an uproar. They'll give us some kind of, they'll throw us a little bit of a bone maybe.
I think there
Yeah.
will be a satisfying ending.
Yes.
I don't think it'll be happy.
It might be satisfying.
Happy
I-
probably wasn't the right word, but
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping for bittersweet.
yeah.
But I honestly would not be surprised if it was just like an emptiness and everything that's living is in Essos.
Yeah.
Like, Westeros is just no longer.
Yeah,
But
a
I
society.
mean, like we said, Essos could also be.
They could also get decimated.
I mean, I really would be shocked
No.
There's a lot of
because
magic
they keep saying
though,
that they
in
need to
Essos.
prepare for winter, and have they really?
No.
No. They were all too petty and squabbling. So if everybody dies, it kind of fits.
Yeah.
We don't want everybody to die, but they had gotten their shit together.
Yeah.
If everybody does die, though, it needs to have a really good reason and point, not just, hey, everyone's dead,
Yeah.
end show,
Yeah.
peace. Like, that would be so dissatisfying. So, like, there needs to be a really concrete reason as a viewer
Yeah.
for me to buy into that.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Otherwise, honestly, it'll be a bit like the ending of Lost, which I'm not going to say anything, but literally the entire fandom was like, what is
It
this?
shouldn't be a cop-out. Like,
No.
it needs to be a legitimate
Yeah.
reason.
And I mean, I read somewhere that the whole cast did a read-through of season 8, and at the end they all did a standing ovation. So whatever the ending is, the cast
They feel
approved
it's
it.
good.
So even if
Everything the cast has said in interviews
Yeah.
since then has
Yeah.
been that they
Except-
felt that it was a fitting end for my character, and
And
I
they
like
Emilia
can't
Clarke,
wait for
except
people.
Emilia Clarke.
Well, yeah, but they can't wait for people to see it. Like,
Yeah.
they're anxious, and
probably because
you
they
know.
want to talk about it.
that too.
Oh, likely.
Amelia Clark told her mother, and then her mother
yeah,
forgot.
forgot, yeah.
So now she has no one to talk to.
Yeah, Rose Leslie didn't speak to Kit Harington for like 3 days or something after he told her.
Yeah.
And so she was kind of distraught. But I mean,
Yeah.
she's watching as a fan, not as a part of the show anymore. So maybe
Yeah.
her, I don't know.
Well, I was a fan of his,
Yeah.
ostensibly. So
Right,
like,
right.
maybe
I hope
that's
she better be a fan of his. I mean,
I
I have a problem.
Yeah.
So, I think that even if not everybody actually dies, I think that just their world as a whole, their society, their customs will have died. Even if people survive.
Yeah, that's a really good
Like-
point. Maybe all of these things that we're hearing are
Is
more
the end of Westerosi.
end of
Yeah.
Westeros.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's the end of Westeros in a different way than we actually think. It's
Right.
not apocalypse. It's
What if it's like a Noah's Ark situation where
Yeah,
like almost
maybe.
everybody's dead,
But
but a
some
select
people-
few survive to restart
A new
civilization.
world. Yeah, I could see that happening.
Maybe that's what the Night King wants.
Maybe he
Maybe.
wants a clean slate. I don't know.
We don't know because he has
We
never
don't
said
know.
anything.
Whatever the ending is,
but I know nothing. So
And I'm a slow learner. What a great family we make here.
what are you?
What are you
Dear.
Until we see.
Whatever the ending is, it's not. It's definitely like, from everything we know, it just can't be a happy ending,
No.
Like-
No.
and that's just the reality.
I don't want.
I don't want a
happy
happy ending.
No, it wouldn't feel authentic for it to be totally happy.
I've read plenty of fairy tales. I'm cool.
Yeah,
I like
we
the
need-
grit.
yeah.
We need
I like the
a.
bittersweet. I like
and-
the weird.
And if it's following the War of the Roses,
Right.
You
It's
know,
not happy.
it's not happy.
There
A lot
has
of
to
people
be
die.
sacrifices.
Not
Yeah.
only the major players, not only the nobility, but the small folk too.
Yeah. It's a sad story, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it will be a desolate wasteland at the end, but I don't think. Well, hey, maybe everybody we care about will die.
I kind of like the Noah's Ark idea, though.
I
Not
think
gonna lie.
that's something that I haven't actually thought about.
Hear me
before.
out. Tormund and Brienne.
With their big baby on a
I'm
boat.
just saying.
To repopulate Westeros.
Right. And it'll start with an alliance between the Free Folk and the Westerosi. So
Yeah,
I'm just hear me out.
can see it.
Tormund and Brienne as the Adam and Eve of Westeros 2.0,
That's it, folks. That's how it ends.
That's it. You heard it here first.
and Tyrion raising Cersei and Jaime's baby and the Daenerys baby because I feel like Jon and Daenerys.
Okay, so
are
those
that.
3 kids are gonna repopulate Westeros.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's gonna be 2 girls and 1 boy, and we're gonna get fucking Aegon the Conqueror. And
Yes.
Yes. Okay. See,
Ah.
poetry. It rhymes.
I
It has
like
symmetry.
it.
It all
It
needs
has
to come back
symmetry.
together.
Full circle.
Full circle. Those power babies.
You know.
I'm just saying, hear me out, Tormund and Brienne.
That would
I
be
mean,
a
I love
baby to
Jon
be
and-
reckoned with. What's their ship name? Briegmund.
Torian?
Torian.
I think it's Torian.
Torian.
I hope it's
Internet,
Torian.
tell us in the comments.
I don't know. I've never actually read any of that fan fiction.
I don't need to read it. I'm fulfilled by their
It's on the
looks
show.
at each
We
other
don't
on the
need it.
show.
It ships
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you think, like, the last scene of the show, what do you think it's going to be?
I think that I think that it's gonna be something that makes us think there might be more. I think it'll be a little cliffhangery in the, like maybe we think everything has been wiped out, whether that be White Walkers and whites or people, and I think we'll get like something that could be like interpreted as a clue at the end, something that's maybe small, that to leave the door open for novelizations, just based on the show, not on the existing book series, comics,
Yeah.
sequel shows in the future.
I think it's
I-
probably gonna be that too.
I
something
think
like
they'll
that.
leave
This
something.
is such a large property, and I've been talking about this with people. It's frankly insane how big a TV show has become,
Yeah.
and obviously our media has shifted in that direction. We now
Yeah.
have these really amazingly well produced, well acted, well written TV shows, which
Yeah.
thank you, but. This is nuts. This is
It's
on
the
the
biggest
scale of
show in the
Star
world.
Wars,
It's the
okay?
biggest TV show in the world.
Insanely
I
huge.
don't think
Yeah.
we're ever going to see anything
I don't
like
think
this
we're
again.
No.
and they're not
It's-
just going to drop this
No.
property.
No, they
No,
keep-
they
keep-
have a spin-off already.
And
It's
they
the
have
prequel.
a vested interest in making
Yeah.
this work long term. So
It-
new
it-
characters, new ideas, new things, new writers coming in.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know that George R. R. Martin wants to write screenplays, so that'd
Yeah.
be really cool if he was
Yeah.
able to do that more often as
Exactly.
spin-offs.
Cersei finishes his books.
Yeah, please, maybe.
Winds of Winter.
It's okay. It's
It's
okay.
been
I
7
want
years.
the book that George wants to write, and if that means that it's going to take until the end of his life, that's okay. I don't think he's gonna die, guys. Like, he's fine. He said he's
Plot twist. He's the Night's King.
You know,
No, it's okay. I want the book he wants, and if that's
That's
not
fair.
here yet, then I'm okay with that.
That's fair.
I know
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the outside of the opinion in that, but it's how
Well,
I
but
feel.
I mean, you also don't want a work that's rushed.
I don't.
And speaking like,
Being
I
a
mean,
creator, I know
yeah.
what that feels like.
yeah, it has to feel authentic.
It's like,
and
look,
you can't.
he clearly got bored.
Yeah.
and it's
Well,
Got
he's-
it's a
uninspired.
complicated story.
And
Needed
it is-
to go. Yeah.
I think the fact that you made a really good point is that like he's not finishing it because fans want him to finish it. He's going to finish it on his own terms, and I kind of like that there's no fan service there.
Yeah.
Like he's finishing what he started.
Yes.
And
With-
he's promised that the end of the books will be different than the end of the show.
right.
Which, as a fan, I'm actually really excited about because then it's like you get double the bang for your
Yeah.
buck kind of thing. You know?
I can
I
enjoy
kind
the show separately from
Exactly.
I disagree with that. Actually, I
Really?
think he's gonna end it like in terms of like a very last scene. I think it's gonna end the exact same way. I think there's gonna be a time jump, and we're gonna end with spring.
I think
Okay.
we're gonna see
Okay.
like a plant coming out of the ground or something to signify spring. And we know that this winter is going to last a long time, so I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
there will be, at least in the show, a time jump. I don't know. For him, he could write the whole length of the 30 years of winter
I
that we're
mean,
gonna have, but
I think that the way that he arrives at the ending will be different from the show, but he did tell the writers the ending.
Yeah.
he did.
So in that regard, in terms of if we're talking last
scene.
then yeah, okay.
So the way they get there is different.
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's going to.
Yeah. I think that, like the idea of open-endedness or like a
It's hilarious
bloom.
that you said that because it's literally what I think the last scene is going to be. Like, I mean, where mine.
I mean, it would make sense
It's
though.
like we're
something,
related or something.
I know,
Almost.
right?
It's something to give you hope that there's still
Yeah,
potential.
I think they're not going to fix everything. They're just going to give us like a little sprout coming out of
Yeah,
the ground,
yeah.
like, oh, new life. Or maybe we'll see
Yeah.
like a new dragon hatching or something. There'll be
Yeah.
some birth or
Or
rebirth
Yeah.
to indicate that the world will.
And whatever
the
it
whole
is, it has to be
Tormund
open-ended.
and Brienne's baby.
An egg hatches, and it's Tormund's and Brienne's baby.
With the dragon wings, you know?
Oh my god.
I mean, if you're going for crackpot theories, it's not the
Fair
worst
enough.
I've heard.
This is serious journalism. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is the most serious
And
Game of Thrones
probably
theory you're ever going to hear.
So yeah, I think that's. I would be okay
And
with
that
an
would
ending
kind
like
of
that.
fit with your bittersweet comment
It would be
because
bittersweet.
if
Yeah.
we see spring but
And if it's a time jump and everybody we know and like is dead,
everybody's dead, but still
Everyone's dead.
the world persisted and potentially there's other life, other people out there.
Right.
That's bittersweet, but at least the world wasn't destroyed. right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me
I'm
too.
honestly I don't even truly want to speculate. This is kind of just for fun.
it is for
Yeah.
fun. We noticed we didn't go into much like exactly what we think is going to happen in season 8.
Yeah.
Broad theories here.
That
Exactly.
said, there's some people on the internet that have come up with some amazing theories that have
Yes.
a lot of evidence, both book-based and show-based, and we'll link as much of it as we referenced, and maybe some others that we didn't reference down in the
So
description below. So
if
check
you're
all
all
of that
about
out.
trying to figure it out before it happens, happy reading.
I mean, there's a certain element of like satisfaction in being like, oh, I knew that was gonna happen, but at the same time, like you want an element of surprise
yeah.
because that's why we're fans. That's why we watch it because
Yeah.
the show is surprising
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, and knowing for certain what's gonna happen takes a bit of the joy out of it.
Yeah.
But theories are fun to explore, and there's
Yeah.
so like she said, like there's tons of great ones out there. If you haven't read any, go read some. Like they're really fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I think that wraps up our game here.
Yes.
Our song of
Um,
fans and theories.
Yes. So we at House Collective will be back
Yes.
at the end of the season
yes.
with more of this A+ Game of Thrones content.
This is the content you came
You
here
best believe that if there is a Tormund and Brienne baby, we will have a video dedicated to that, and I will wear a dragon onesie for that. So
Yeah.
that's actually what I should have worn. Why didn't I wear a dragon onesie?
That's you made
Because
a
you are
mistake.
Khaleesi.
Right, I am the dragon, blood of the dragon. Okay,
All right.
so
yeah.
enjoy Game of Thrones.
Thanks
The
for
last
tuning
season.
in.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
We'll be back. Fire and Blood. Winter is coming. Blah blah blah.
King in the North.
Fire and Blood. I was trying to get more comfortable.
Oh, you want a pillow? Are you sure?
Whoa, no.
Oh dear.
No, it's fine.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm gonna just flap.
Flappy flap flap flap. We have arrived at our final theory.
This is take 4.